Even before he became king, Charles III owned an impressive portfolio of private residences across the UK. Following the death of Queen Elizabeth II, Charles became custodian to some of the grandest and oldest homes in Britain. Buckingham Palace, London. The centerpiece of the new monarch's extensive property portfolio is Buckingham Palace, which has been the official London residence of UK sovereigns since 1837. Buckingham Palace has 775 rooms, including 19 state rooms, 52 royal and guest bedrooms, and 78 bathrooms. Windsor Castle, Windsor. One of Queen Elizabeth's favorite residences, the king has inherited the castle as part of the Crown estate. Charles spent much of his childhood at the castle, which was built in the 11th century by William the Conqueror. Dumfries House, Scotland. Set on an 809-hectare estate, Dumfries House was purchased by the Prince's Foundation, an education charity set up by the king, for £45 million in 2007. The 18th-century stately home is an example of Palladian architecture and is famous for its original furniture, such as a rosewood bookcase valued at £4 million. Clarence House, London. Built between 1825 and 1827, Clarence House in Westminster has been King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla's official London residence since 2003. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip moved into the house following their marriage in 1947. The Queen gave birth to Princess Anne there. Balmoral Castle, Scotland. The 20,200-hectare estate in Scotland is privately owned by the royals and passed to King Charles following the death of the Queen. Historical records show that the house was built in 1390. The castle was bought for Queen Victoria by her husband Prince Albert in 1852. Hillsborough Castle, Northern Ireland. Built in the 18th century, it is the official residence in Northern Ireland of the British monarch and other members of the British royal family when they visit the region. Llywelynwarmod, Wales. Set within 77 hectares, the main house was built from the ruins of a 13th-century coach house on an estate previously owned in the 13th and 14th centuries by William Williams, a relative of one of Henry VIII's wives, Anne Boleyn. The Castle of May, Scotland. Also known as Barragill Castle, the estate in Caithness, on the north coast of Scotland, was purchased by the Queen Mother in 1952, and King Charles inherited it when she died in 2002. Built between 1566 and 1572, it was semi-derelict when the Queen Mother restored it to use as a holiday home. In 2019, King Charles opened the Granary Lodge, a 10-bedroom bed and breakfast on the castle grounds built from the old stables in Granary. Sandringham House, Norfolk. Mentioned in the 11th century Domesday Book, Sandringham in Norfolk was one of Queen Elizabeth's favorite residences and is where the royals traditionally spent Christmas. The Grade II listed house stands in 20,000 acres consisting of landscaped gardens, parks and woodlands. Even before the Queen's death, King Charles had been instrumental in running the estate, which has an organic farm and is home to rare breeds of cattle. The Palace of Holyrood House, Scotland. The Palace of Holyrood House on Edinburgh's Royal Mile is the official residence of the British monarchy in Scotland. The grounds are home to the ruins of Holyrood Abbey, which was founded in 1128, and are steeped in royal history. The palace itself was built in the 17th century. Highgrove House, Gloucestershire. The family residence of King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla. The king bought the estate in 1980. The 18th century house features 9 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms and sits in 364 hectares. The land is home to an organic farm, which produces food and beverages under the Duchy Originals label, as well as formal and wild gardens designed by Charles, which are open to the public. Birkhall, Scotland. King Charles inherited Birkhall from his grandmother, the Queen Mother, following her death, and it became his private residence in Scotland. Located on the Balmoral estate along the River Muick, the house, which was built in 1715, sits on 21,448 hectares and is where he spent part of his honeymoon with Queen Consort Camilla. Dolphin House, Isles of Scilly. King Charles doesn't just own the 6-bedroom Dolphin House in the Isles of Scilly. He also owns the 1.75-kilometer-long private island on which it is situated. Trusco Island is home to just 175 residents, ensuring privacy for any visiting royals.